Hello, welcome to 2-Point Interior Specs. As you can see, this is what we started on last class, and freehand sketch is kind of a study of the chair. I didn't really use in perspective box that was carefully constructed with a ruler. I just kind of went for it. I did that with the door as well, but then I came back today and found the vanishing points really clearly and did it all in a legitimate way. I kind of think it's a good thing to start with the just a freehand sketch, trying to think things out lightly like this. Then come back and start solidifying it. It allows you to think of the whole more easily rather than just plodding along at little linear steps, and then you get to doing it and you're like, oh, I didn't do it right. So this helps get you in the ballpark. So the big thing with an object first is basic proportions. Like, you want to note things that for instance, the width of this chair is equal to let's say 1, 2, about 2. It's a little less than 2 actually of the height of this thing. So if you go back to here, so this height is 1. It's about 1.5 more, 2.5 total of these. This is about equal to this in perspective. It might be a little bit wider than that. You want to notice those things. A lot of times they get really out of proportion. For instance, the doorway is about this width right here is about 1, 2, almost 2 of this height. In terms of the door itself, the width of both doors comes to there. So that's about 1, and that would be another third of this dimensions. Okay, so you just want to notice what the proportions are and try to either, if you're good at eyeballing them, if not, then you have to do this kind of proportional relationship thing. Construct transparently. You can see why it's important for the door here. When you're finding the center of the door, it doesn't stop right at this line here. Because it's an inset door, it goes all the way back to there, and that's where you find the center. And that's where I find the center for this panels here. Didn't really need to find the centers, but I did. The way I constructed the archway top, it's like a transparent rectangular prism that I did the front one, the red box, and found the center, and then did that arch. And then did the back box and found the center, and then did that arch. And then from there in the back I'm creating some mullions radiating outwards from a central frame. So you just step by step build it. The molding, you see here, what I started with is this profile line going boom, 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 like a stair-step molding coming down. And then I just drew the lines from the vanishing point through those points that make sense, rather than trying to line these up and then figure out the profile later. So that's that. I tried that bay window the other time. I did it a little more legitimately this time, and the way I started it was with a box, basically. So I created a box in perspective with a horizon line and vanishing points, and designated a depth for the box, other vanishing points off in the distance. So that was the box, and this is going to a vanishing point there and a vanishing point someplace off the page here. So once I have that, then it's a matter of figuring out finding the centers. Of course, that's how we do it. I found the center of this, and then what I did, that was the center of the back panel, and then I found the center of this one there, and this one, there. And then I had this be the center unit right here, and this be where the side panels hook up there. So this becomes this window here. This becomes the center window right here. And then this is the side, and we're looking on it a little bit more straight on this way. So that is the basic method of doing that, and it's a little complex. Now the weird thing about this is that so once you form these new planes here, they're no longer perpendicular to the room. So they have their own vanishing points. So when I'm doing the returns and the molding detail on this, it goes to its own vanishing point. So I have to kind of establish where is that vanishing point. With same thing over here. Where is the vanishing point? That's what those will go to. These were off the page. And then when you're doing things like this with a lot of precise verticals that are in relationship with perspective, you've got to be, you know, I had to come back and correct and make sure my verticals are right on. Just a little bit of deviation can throw things off a lot. So if you work light, and it'll help a lot. Just stay loose and keep moving forward, and then just keep correcting things as you need to. Use your eye as best you can. Okay, so for like a chair object, I just want to see what time. Okay, for a chair object, I'm not requiring you to draw an orthographic of it. You could even do a top view as well, looking down on it. But you need to think in terms of an orthographic. You need to think in terms of what is the back of this thing doing it. I should actually go get the picture of the chair I used. But you're trying to extrapolate. It was basically this view. You're trying to extrapolate, okay, what's going on there? What are the relationships this way? And what are the basic proportions of the thing? So where the seat height is right here. I'm calling that 1 unit. And this is basically 1 and another half unit. 2.5 of these seat height units are giving the height of the chair. The width of the chair is about equal to the total depth of the chair from the back of the chair to there. Now these are just my guesstimations. Where the arm things come up, it's a little bit, just a little bit past half when it comes to there. So that when I know that, okay, from this I can say what would be best to use is a rectangular prism that's tall with squares at top and bottom. So in other words, the top and bottom are sort of my concept of a square. Looking at it now, I think it's maybe a little too deep for the square, personally. But that's what I'm going to go for. And then I can divide the things up into those proportions. I don't have to be, drive myself crazy. It's just to try to get myself in the ballpark. And like we did with the ray gun, it's really this vertical that you can start dividing the relationships. So this 1 unit here, right at this vertical, would be from here to here. That would be the 1 unit, and I go up, another one, boom, and then another one, and it's a little bit more, so this was closer to a third almost. I kind of changed the proportions a little bit. So once you do that, you just, even though this is a rounded form, this thing here, you're still thinking in terms of perspective. So when I do this arch line here of the pillow, it's really based on this line going back in perspective and this line going back in perspective, because it's basically a rectangular pillow, but it's kind of poofing out a little bit. That's how I get that line. This is reflecting here. There's kind of a complex double curve to this thing. It's curving back and it's curving out towards us as well. So but I base that on this line there, and make sure I don't go off there. I'm basing on this line, and I'm finding the center point here, right there was the center point where that I have a little dip going on in that, and that's where I find it there. So again, all these soft forms are based on rectangular prisms. I hope this makes things a little clearer. Good luck, have fun, and use your best judgment.